So now let's talk about the basics of using the SimpleTemplate language, right? So we talked about the SimpleTemplate template engine, and basically what these templates allow you to do is they allow you to be able to dynamically create web pages using variable values that are sent from your bottle script to the template. Why this makes life a lot easier is just from an administration standpoint. You get to abstract out, again, separate out the different layers of your app. So basically you have one place where it's just templates, and when you're trying to figure out how a web page should look like, you can just go to that one template file instead of having to deal with your entire bottle script. The other thing too is for sanitizing data. Again, one of the concerns you have is if people put information or values into your app that might be used for things like injection attacks. One of the nice things about template engines is they generally have sanitization built into their system, so when they get a variable value, they'll sanitize those variable values so that the injection attack will not be able to occur. So when you're using the templates, the language is pretty simple. I'll show you the code in a second. The first thing is you're going to have to actually send the variables to the template, so the template is able to process it, and then once the variables go to the template, what I'm going to show you how to do is how to do an if-else statement, how to do a for loop, how to do a key value loop, so basically a dictionary loop, and how to actually do Python code directly on the template itself. So here we have our example.py script, and we have a template underscore control template here, which is actually going to be displaying everything. If we look at our workspace over here, again, we're at the desktop as I normally do. Example.py is on the desktop. We then have a views folder, and the template underscore control template is in that views folder. If we then go and take a look at the example script, we can show how to send variable values to the template, right? So from bottle import run, route, and template. Make sure to import template function at route, so at route, so we're going to root, define index, so this is the index page. We're going to do multiple variables here, so we have different variable types to play with on the template. Name equals Bob, so we're going to send a string. Age equals 12, so we're going to send an int. List equals item 1, comma item 2, comma item 3. Because I'm not creative, but that is a list. And then dictionary equals squiggly bracket, name equals Sue, age equals 33, and size is medium. Then to send that data to the template, we're going to return, so we always return. We're going to use the template function. We're going to call the template, so template underscore control, no TPL at the end, right? Comma, and then all the variables and the values. So again, on the left-hand side, this is the name that the template file is going to use. On the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, that's the name that corresponds over here. So name on template equals name here. Age on template equals age here. List on template equals list here. And dictionary on template equals dictionary here, and then we're going to simply do run host equals localhost port at 8080. So this is what the bottle script that's going to be sending data to the template looks like. Now let's take a look at the template file. One of the important things when you're looking at the template file is do realize that white space and indentations do not matter for the template file. Think of this as like HTML or CSS, but you do want to keep the indentations and the white space just so it's easier for you to read. So up here we're going to print the name, right? So name, Bob, got sent to this, and that is the value of the name variable, and so we want to print that out here. So H1, squiggly bracket, and then the variable name, close squiggly bracket, close squiggly bracket. That is how you call the single value for a variable, right? Then we're going to have an if-else statement. Now, when you do anything more complicated than just getting something like a variable name, you do have to end it. You do have to end all these code blocks. One of those weird things with template languages, all template languages, you're going to have to end it. So just do make sure you put an end here. So we're going to do a %sign if age, so age was sent, is greater or equal to 18. We're going to write this out on the screen. P, you are old enough. Else, %sign else, all together, colon, you are too young, and then %sign end, right? So basically the age goes, you're old enough, you're not old enough, whatever. That's going to get printed out on the screen. We're then going to come down here for a for x loop, right? So we're going to say %for. We're simply going to do x in list. So that list variable got sent to this template. We're going to iterate through the values in that list. So for x in list, for x, right? So that's a variable name. So we can do squiggly bracket, x squiggly bracket, and then break. So item 1, break. Item 2, break. Item 3, break. And that's just simply going to iterate us through the list. And then we are going to end. Always make sure you end. No, you're not going to. Always make sure you end. Percentage sign end. Then we're going to do a break there between those. And then we're going to go through for a key value, right? So this is going through a dictionary. We want to print the key and the value at the same time. So we're going to do percentage sign 4. And then key, comma, value, like we would when we're iterating through a normal dictionary, in dict.items, like we normally would, colon, and we're going to do squiggly bracket, key, squiggly bracket. We're just going to do hyphen, hyphen, open squiggly bracket, value, close squiggly bracket, and then we're going to break. So it'll say Sue, or it'll say name, Sue, age, whatever, size, whatever, and then you've got the end, percentage end. Make sure you do that. And then finally here is a final example. This just shows you how you can actually put Python code directly into your template, which you may or may not want to do, and you probably don't want to do it. One of the things with abstraction is basically the idea is abstracting out all of these layers and separating out all these layers. The idea there is that each layer is supposed to do a specific thing, and so your entire system becomes more secure. If all that happens on the template is displaying information, then it's hard to compromise, right? If all that happens in the Python script is you basically processing information, it makes things harder to compromise, right? By abstracting those layers, every layer has a specific task, it makes the entire system less vulnerable. When you start putting actual Python code directly on your templates, bad things might ensue. So most of the time, you want this code to run on the bottle script. You want this to be processed here and then sent to your template. You don't want it actually done here. But in case you do, in order to run Python directly on the template itself, you do angle bracket and then percentage sign. Here we're going to say total equals 2 plus 4. So we're going to create a variable name of total. It's going to be the value of this. We're going to close, so percentage sign with the angle bracket, and then we're going to simply print out total here, squiggle, squiggle, total, close, squiggle, squiggle. Right? So if we go and we actually run this, right? So I'm going to run this. It is now running at localhost at 8080. So we can see name of Bob, you are too young, item 1, item 2, item 3, name hyphen hyphen Sue, age hyphen hyphen 33, size hyphen hyphen medium, and then 6 is what the total is, whatever the hell it is that you were adding up. So this is the basics of the SimpleTemplate language. There might be a little bit more to this template language, but honestly, there's not a lot more. One of the big things I want you to take away from this particular session, though, is the idea of abstracting the different layers and that each layer should perform a specific task, right? So if you're modifying variable values at the template, if you're doing something to the variable values at the template level, that is probably a bad idea. You probably should be doing it different. Actually do the processing within the bottle script before the values get sent to the template. On the same hand, right, if you're actually creating an HTML document within the bottle script itself, which, to be clear, we do a lot in these classes. We do a lot in these classes because it's simple, But in a production environment, in the real world, don't do that. Again, there's what you learn in class and then what you do in the real world. Generally, you should not be creating full-fledged HTML documents within the bottle script itself because there are vulnerabilities and there's issues there. Again, you want to send those values over to the template, have the template be able to process that in order to be able to dynamically build the web page. That is the big thing for you to be thinking about. And so play with the template language, play with, different things and that type of deal. And as you do, I think a lot of this will start to make a lot more sense.